We are in the full swing of summer and it has been an extremely hot one. So I wanted to make an old fashioned that you could drink and eat at the poolside. Yes, that's right, I said eat. So let's get into this one. Welcome back to Old Fashioned Ways, and today we are making a watermelon old fashioned, which is perfect for this hot weather. It's gonna get hot in here. What is even better, we'll be able to eat one as well. I can't wait to taste these. Cocktail quiz time. Watermelon is properly named because watermelons are 92% water and 8% sugar. Did you know that watermelons also contain an anti-cancer compound? Diving into ideas for this old fashioned opened up a new rabbit hole for me, especially because I love watermelon. I had to slow down, take a step back, and showcase just a few, but this is something I really think I'm going to come back to. So let's just go ahead and jump into this one, starting with a simple watermelon old fashioned and then kind of going into more fun poolside friendly version plus an edible version. Let's get into it. All right, the ingredients for the watermelon old fashioned: 1.5 ounces of bourbon, 4 to 6 cubes of watermelon, 1/4 ounce simple syrup, 2 dashes Angostura bitters, and a little bit of salt so we can rim the glass. Well, let's start making the watermelon old fashioned. So this one's gonna be made directly in the glass and we're gonna rim it with just a little bit of salt. I suggest doing partial, but if you want, you can do the whole thing. Now we're gonna add 4 to 6 cubes of watermelon. Now you can do 4, you can do 6, just depends how big they are and how much you want in it. Just make sure to save a little bit over for the garnish. Now followed by 2 dashes of Angostura bitters, and of course a 1/4 ounce of simple syrup. Now the simple syrup is kind of optional because there's already sugar in the watermelon, and if it's sweet enough you might not need to add it, but I'm just going to add just a little bit to this one. Now next we want to use 1.5 ounces of bourbon. Now, I'm using this Woodford because I kind of want to finish this bottle up, but any bourbon will do, whatever you like. I would tend to stick to a bourbon more than a rye, only because the rye is spicier and the bourbon tends to be sweet, and I think that would pair better with the watermelon. Just that in there. Let's just finish this off. But before you add that in there, I almost forgot. I need to muddle this. So we're going to muddle this up a little bit. And you don't have to over muddle it, just enough to get the juices flowing.
Get our juices flowing.
And to let it all kind of mix together. And then you also want to add the ice before you put in that bourbon. So just get 1 clear ice, put that on top, and then add this bourbon in. It just helps prevent to not splash everywhere if you put the ice cube in afterwards. Now, just take a second, stir this up a little bit. Now, if you don't want watermelon chunks in it, or you don't want to have that left in there, you can always make it in a mixer and then kind of straighten here. I like watermelon. I think I'm gonna like the chunks in it, so that's why I kind of kept it this way. Now, optional is to garnish with 1 or 2 watermelon cubes. And there you have it, the watermelon old fashioned. Simple and easy to make. I'm gonna move these to the side for a second and go ahead and give this a try. The bourbon does pair very nicely with this. So if you have Woodford, I would try it. It's not overpowering, it's not too high proof, and you get the bourbon flavor with the watermelon kind of hint through it. Now, I'm excited because I want to try it with the salt side, because sometimes I do like to add a little salt to my watermelon, just enhances flavor. Enhance! So let's go ahead and do that. So the salt does add a little bit, but it also takes a little bit away. The salt helps enhance the watermelon, which then decreases the bourbon flavor in that. Both ways are good. Actually, I kind of preferred it without the salt, which I think is interesting. I really thought I'd prefer it with the salt. But overall, a good, simple watermelon old fashioned. All right, time to get into the next one. Next is where we have a little bit of fun and make a more poolside friendly old fashioned that you'll be able to drink and eat. Yes, I did say eat. So, are you ready for this bad boy? Spiked watermelon old fashioned. To make this, you're going to be using 1 cup of bourbon, 8 dashes Angostura bitters, and 4 dashes of orange bitters. So first, in a measuring cup, you're going to add 1 cup of bourbon, followed by 8 dashes of Angostura bitters and 4 dashes of orange bitters. You're going to stir that up so that you're going to get it ready to pour in the watermelon. Next, you're going to cut the watermelon. Now, as you can see, when I first tried doing it, it wouldn't all pour in. So I actually used the empty bottle I had, poured the premix in here, and then stuck in the watermelon so it could absorb as much as I can, and I left it in my fridge overnight. So what's kind of cool about it is because of the way it works, you'll actually get some watermelon flavor stuck in here.
Ooh, watermelon!
Now I have to figure out how to remove this and be able to make our first drink. All right, we're going to use this watermelon 3 different ways. That's correct, 3 different ways. The first one's going to be the easiest, and so what it is, you're going to get a glass, rim it with some salt on there. And what you're gonna do is we're gonna pour some of this out in there. So I'm gonna do this over the towel so I don't make too big of a mess, but we'll see what happens. Ooh, this is gonna be fun. Ooh, it's gotta be a better way to do this, but hey, that's not me. Oh, perfect. Look, just enough for it. And that's why I have the towel here, so I don't make such a big mess. Poured over half the salt though, which was the wrong side to do it on. But here we go. The spiked watermelon old fashioned. I like this. I like this glass because it spins, but I like this. A lot more watermelon in this one. Watermelon comes through forward. You feel a little bit of heat from actually, it's vodka that I use in here, right? But let's try it with the salt side, which I don't have much of that left since I poured over half of it into the salt right here, but oh yeah. There's little chunks of watermelon here. I like that.
Chunk! No, Captain Chunk!
If you want, strain it through, strain it so you don't get those watermelon chunks, but I kind of like them. They're kind of nice because when you're drinking, you get that watermelon, you get to chew on it like if you're having a watermelon. So on this one, the salt does not take away from it because since we're using vodka, we are not getting the flavor from the vodka. It's all the watermelon flavor, right? So instead, you're highlighting the watermelon. You add a little bit of salt to watermelon and it brings out more of that flavors, just like it did in the first one. It brought the watermelon forward. So the salt does actually work on this one as well. So on the next version of this is the first one that we actually get to eat. We're gonna cut up this spiked watermelon and you can cut into quarters or chunks, whatever you prefer, but I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting this. And let's see how much leaks out of it as we're doing this. Ooh, look how beautiful that looks inside.
So beautiful. So beautiful.
And I know a lot of when you're doing a spiked watermelon, they call for you to, go inside and kind of chop everything up. I didn't want to do that because I wanted to be able to cut this up and use as chunks or even just eat it like this. So that's why I didn't go ahead and cut it all up and kind of try to get the inside more. And I probably would have been able to get the whole bottle in there if I would have done that, but we'll see. We'll see how much of this went through it. So love the redness, love the color on this. What I'm gonna do is just kind of cut this into a few quarters here, or into a slice like that. And here we go. This is gonna be my first bite of the watermelon chunk old fashioned. Ooh, no, you do get that flavor throughout the whole thing. Oh yeah, that is good. That is good. That can be eaten at a poolside pretty quickly, pretty easily, refreshing, and just an overall good drink. I like it. I think the only other thing I would do more is actually maybe go down the center a little bit more so I can get all that center so it can go all the way through and spread a little bit more. That is good. So this last one I'm calling the balsamic mint watermelon old fashioned. It's a little bit different, a little bit more fancy.
So fancy.
Indeed.
I got this idea because sometimes when my girls go to restaurants, they like to eat like this watermelon kind of salad thing, and it kind of just blends together very well. So what you want to do is get that watermelon, cut it up. You can cut it up into quarters, you can cut up to chunks. I decided to do kind of balls. Here they're kind of half balls because I'm not very good at making them that way. And then you also want to get some mint, and we're gonna use some balsamic vinegar and some salt as well. What I did is, as I cut them up, I did drizzle a little bit of what was left of the mixture onto it so it can soak more of that up. Now what you want to do is you want to get all this and put it in a cup or in a bigger bowl. You want to sprinkle the mint on it, and you want to also drizzle just a tiny bit of salt. And I'm using the salt flakes because I like the way they look on there, and they kind of just add a little extra to it as well, If you're doing this for yourself, use your hands, right? If you're not, then make sure you use a spoon or something. But I'm making this for myself, so I'm just gonna kind of mix this all up in here and make it just nice and just mix it all so it all kind of goes together, allowing it to absorb more of the liquid in there. The salt will help pull some of the flavor out as well, and we don't want to leave it too long in there because the salt's going to pull a lot of that juices out. So we're going to pour it all back into here and make sure to add all that salt and mint and everything else that's all that goodness back into this smaller bowl. Now definitely want to dry your hands a little bit. I say using fresh mint is the best, so that's what I did. We got some fresh mint. Unfortunately, my mint that I grow, it's so hot now, it's dead. So I had to buy some at the store, and it's okay looking, right? But I can smell it has a nice good aroma to it. So now you're gonna get a balsamic, and the balsamic, If you want to, you can thicken it up and make it a little bit thicker. This one's actually a good one according to my daughter. I don't have as much of it. And you're just gonna drizzle a little bit of this on top. So what you want to do is just pour a little bit over the top of it, just like that, right? And there you have it, the balsamic mint watermelon old fashioned. Well, let's go in for it and give it a try. I'm gonna choose this one up here. It's got a nice big salt, nice mint on it, and we'll just try this one first. Yummy, 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 yummy. Now, a lot of you out there were saying, is that really an old fashioned? I got spirit, I got sweetness to sugar, I got bitters, and just add a little bit extra to it. So that is actually really good. The salt, the watermelon, the mint, the balsamic just kind of adds to the top of it. Ooh, that is good. Kind of get by the poolside, have all the ingredients, kind of mix it there. And let's just see everybody just kind of enjoy it. Get a refreshing, get a nice little refreshing from the cold watermelon. Have a nice little bit of the alcohol in the background. Just, have a good time. Cocktail quiz time. Watermelon is properly named because watermelon is 92% water and 8% sugar. Did you know that watermelon also contains an anti-cancer compound? Watermelons are the best source of lycopene, an antioxidant that has been shown to reduce the risk for several types of cancers, cardiovascular disease, and even macular degeneration. So what did you think? Did you enjoy this video? It does take a little bit of prep time, but it's so worth it. Now going back to my watermelon rabbit hole. If you like this, I have so many ideas on ways to use watermelons in an old-fashioned or kind of a riff on an old-fashioned as well. I felt like that Forrest Gump guy going through just different types of,
Anyway, like I was saying, shrimp is the fruit of the sea. You can barbecue it.
We can do this with mint.
Bake it, saute it.
We can do this with honey.
Pan fried, deep fried.
We can do this with jalapenos.
There's pineapple shrimp, lemon shrimp.
We can change the liqueur.
Shrimp soup, shrimp stew.
Or we can add flavored liqueur. We can do
shrimp burger, shrimp sandwich. That's about it.
There's just so much there that I think I can actually do a whole month of videos just on watermelon, right? Let me know if you think that's a good idea, and I will start working on this for probably next year, and we'll maybe do a whole month of watermelon when watermelons are back in season. But I need to know if you want me to do that as well. Leave in the comments below if you think if you have any ideas for a watermelon old fashioned, or if you've done one that you really like. I always like to hear your comments. I like to hear your ideas. It helps me, helps get my juices going, so I can, my creative juices going, so that I can actually come up with other ideas as well. Well, my friends, thank you for joining me on another journey down my old fashioned rabbit hole, this time with watermelon. Till our next journey, my friends. Cheers.